All right. Welcome to another edition of the ISP podcast. I'm your host, Sal, here with Rahi and Roy. We are coming home. In other words, that means we will be talking about the U.S. men's national team or U.S. women's national team, something about U.S. soccer. But today, it's the U.S. men's national team. And they have a new manager, and he got to pick a brand new roster for his first match. Of course, that is Mauricio Pochettino. And guys, the roster was fresh and new and exciting and all new talent. And no, not so much.
It's not so different, but because it was picked by Mauricio Pochettino, somehow it just looks better. It tastes better. It smells better. It has the feeling of unbounded potential, endless possibilities. I think it's like putting the Pochettino filter on a Greg Berhalter roster, and suddenly, Roy, it's a different roster. It's a different roster, man.
No, you're just a Euro snob. It's the same exact roster, same exact players. If anything, it's weaker because of all the injuries. There is nothing. Let's not give credit to Pochettino for picking this roster in any way, shape, or form. It's the Greg Berhalter roster. It's probably the only roster we should be calling up. There's really no one that's shouting the name of the federation saying, look at me, I'm killing it. So here it is.
I think I know how you pick this roster.
I do like the inclusion. I know he played last game, but Marlon Fossey. That's someone that has snuck his way without really anyone noticing. I thought he had a solid game.
Great hair.
Great hair. He's an interesting player. We need someone in his position. We need another right back. So I like him.
What did it say that Zach Steffen got the picture on this roster?
I love it.
I mean, did Roy get to select this? It chose like an MLS player. Or what?
Let's get the MLS guy. Let's put a shining star on him.
Okay. Very interesting choice for him to be the picture, considering he's probably third string on this team.
I'd say he's fourth string on this thing. On this team.
Wait a second. No, maybe not. Because did you hear what Pochettino said about players who are not starting?
Fair.
He said unacceptable. He said, we will not accept this on this national team. If you're not starting, you better start starting, or else you won't be starting.
But then, so why did he even take Ethan Horvath and Matt Turner then?
They're fixtures. They're fixtures, and he's not going to shake anything up.
So he's actually going to play. He's actually going to play Schulte or Steffen in the match.
I think Steffen, out of these four names, I think Steffen has been the best goalkeeper over the last 6 months.
Okay.
Wow.
Arguable that Schulte, but Schulte's still a little young, a little bit mistake prone. I think Zach Steffen has been the best goalkeeper on this list over the past month.
So the reason he has those guys on this roster is because, let's be honest, Mauricio Pochettino, in putting together this roster, what he did was he requested access to the shared file, the Google Doc that Greg Berhalter had, and said, can you give me access, Greg? And he just, got access to that file, Control-C, Control-V, and that's what he did, Roy. That's his roster. He just he consulted Greg Berhalter, I think, for this roster.
Yeah, I think Greg Berhalter uses Microsoft Word Online, not Google Docs.
Okay. He's a Teams guy.
Greg Berhalter's a guy. He's a Microsoft SharePoint guy. Yeah.
Pochettino's probably got a Mac. I think he's probably a Mac guy. He seems like creative. He's got
modern tool. Yeah. Lean.
Yeah. All you got to learn, you only need to know one command for this: Control-C, Control-V, man. It's like copy and paste, like the roster over, man. That's it. That's all you do. I mean, these names. Do we need to keep showing this, or can we get rid of this?
No, I think we can get rid of
it. Let's see. Is there anyone else here worth mentioning? We got the same starting lineup.
Busio's back.
Busio's back, which is nice. I love Marlon Fossey being back. I also like what Mr. Pochettino has said about Brendan Aronson, which is something I've been thinking for a very long time. You could tell this guy is class. You could tell this guy is tremendously talented, but something's not working with Brendan Aronson.
He said
whether it's position. Yeah. He didn't mention that last part, but he said, I could tell this player has tremendous talent. He has incredible work ethic. He's serious. He's passionate. He is a player that we could really develop into something incredible. We just need to find his position. So he kind of did say that. We need to
Yeah.
find his position. Is it a 10? Is it a 9? Is it more of an 8? Is it a winger? But we haven't figured him out, which is sad because he looks incredible in burst.
I think that's the thing, that those are the players that are going to benefit the most under Pochettino is high motor players, right? Players that have energy and that play with intensity. That's going to be the key. And so I can see him developing a player like Brendan Aronson, and I can see him lighting a fire into some of the players we have who are a little lackadaisical. Chris Richards comes to mind, right? Players who are playing below the pace required at the international level. And that's what I'm hoping the most, Roy, from Pochettino. I know it's the same roster. I know that maybe he's not going to mess with the formation that much. It sounds like he's going to keep it very simple, which I think is a good thing. But I think he's going to bring an intensity and a front-footedness to this team. That's what I'm hoping for, Roy.
Yeah, it sounds like he's doing 2 formations. I think I read this in an interview yesterday. 4-2-3-1
and 4-3-3. Yeah.
Which is what this team needs. It needs to be alternating between those 2 formations.
Simple.
Yeah,
that's what they need.
I'm curious what he's going to think about players. So first of all, we know his view on players who aren't starting. I don't think players who are not starting for their club teams are going to start for the national team. So what does that say about Gio Reyna? Gio Reyna, it's funny how every time we talk and Gio Reyna, we talk about him, he's injured.
But why are we talking about Gio Reyna? He's not on this roster.
He's not on this roster, but still.
So no, fair. But let's talk about specifically the players on this roster, because one player that I don't know why, no offense, but I don't know why that keeps getting included is Tim Ream, because Tim Ream, in my opinion, is not a World Cup potential player, and we don't have to go through qualifiers. So why is he still playing?
He's the only leader.
It's influence, experience. Agreed.
But there's no point. There's just no point. I mean, look, I'm the biggest Tim Ream fan. I thought he's been a fantastic player for the national team. He's been a soldier. He's been a leader. He's been, everything. But it's time to move on from Tim Ream. So why keep bringing him? I don't get it.
I say bring him, don't start him. I don't like that he's been starting. I think he needs to be there from a leadership perspective. There's not a de facto leader on this team. It's not Pulisic. Let's be real. It's not McKennie. It's not Balogun. It's none of those guys. None of those guys.
Yeah, but it's gonna have to be someone of these guys, right? You can't keep relying, unless he's just gonna be on the bench and he's gonna be a coach number 2, which is fine. Maybe Rahi, maybe that's what he wants to do. Yeah.
I mean, I like Miles Robinson back. I like that. He's a player I think always who, when he's at his best, is athletic, who plays at pace. My biggest issue with this team and the way they've defended, and what I hope he changes, is that they've defended in a very reactive way. The reason we're so susceptible is because everything's back-footed defending. You watch Chris Richards play, you watch the way that this team defends, it's a second late to everything, because instead of stepping into tackles, instead of pressing the forward, you're reacting to what he's doing, and that's dangerous, and then you're a step behind. And what he said, Roy, was we're going to be relentless about getting the ball back when we lose it. If that translates onto the field, that'll be a huge shift, because that's what this team needs.
Yeah, and we have the players for it. We have the engine. We have speed. We have tremendous speed. What was that stat that came out that Anthony Robinson he hit the highest speed in the Premier League this season so far in his last game? We have incredible speed on this team. It's not just Anthony Robinson. It's Serginho Dest. It's Balogun. It's Brendan Aronson, it's Christian Pulisic, it's Yunus Musa, it's Timothy Weah. This is a team that is relentless if they have the right leader to activate that.
Exactly. So those players who play at pace, I think, are going to be the priority. So a player, to be honest, like a Johnny Cardoso, I think, is going to struggle because he's not a player that plays at pace, right? So I think to play on this team, and I hope that's the case, you have to be playing with speed, moving with speed. You have to be attacking. That's what I hope for, and that's what he said. So I got to trust him, right?
Yeah, let's just quickly. Yeah, regardless, Johnny Cardoso has been a disaster for this national team. This brings nothing.
Yeah, I think so. Let's talk about the defense now a little bit. So obviously, I think Joe Scally's pretty much solidified that spot when Serginho Dest is not playing, right? So now it becomes the other on Anthony Robinson, obviously on the left side. So for you guys, do you think this is the moment for Miles Robinson to step up again? Is this his moment now?
It has to be.
It has to be. Yeah.
It's not now. It's never. Tim Ream is going out. There is no There's no defender on this center defender on this roster that screams fixture. He needs to be with a Sharpie written into that line. Not a single one. Cameron Carter-Vickers? Absolutely not. Chris Richards? Has he even been good for us over the past year? Has he had great performances? Not really. I would say not at all. So there's no center back on this team who has claimed that role. Miles Robinson has been waiting on the edge, sitting around. It's a shame he hasn't made the right moves from a club perspective. He went from Atlanta United. I think it was a slight step up to go from Atlanta to Cincinnati. But
yeah, no, but it has to be him, right? It has to be him because you got Mark McKenzie, right? Who I think probably starts as well. He has a ceiling that is high. He hasn't grown as much as you'd like, but he does have potential. I think he does. Chris Richards has to change the way he plays for the national team. He's very reactive. He's a good passer, but that's not the priority. The priority is defending and being tenacious and ferocious and relentless. And he's none of those things yet. Weston McKennie, if you move up a little bit now, can help the defense out if he does that, right? If you saw Weston for Juve in the Champions League with an incredible tackle to set the move. Like this is what we need, right? So it's not just on the defenders, I think.
Yeah, so it's been a pretty good week overall for the U.S. men's national team players. All right, so very quickly, guys, what are you expecting? What do you want from this game against the team that we can't seem to beat, which is Panama? We'll of course cover match reaction and all that as we get to international week, my favorite week of the year. But basically, what do you guys want to see from this as we play the team that our bogey team, Panama?
Relentless.
Yeah,
that's it. I don't care about chemistry at this point. It's a new coach. Tactically, we're not going to see exactly what he's trying to do, but attitude, because we're bringing a coach who is a player coach. He knows how to motivate. He knows how to get people fired up. So we have to see that. We haven't seen that in a while. We haven't seen a team that's fired up, that's passionate, that's ready to kill for each other. And I hope we get to see that.
Yeah, and less of the tentativeness, the hesitancy. I don't want to see that, right? Because one thing we know we lack, and we can talk about this over and over again, we lack technical ability. We don't have the best passers. We don't have the best dribblers on this team. We have one truly world-class player, and that's Christian Pulisic. And we have Weston McKennie maybe on becoming that. But what we don't lack is pace. What we shouldn't lack is intensity. So I just want to see us go out and fight, right? I want to see us overwhelm Panama with our pace. That's what I want to see. I don't care if we give the ball away. I really don't care. That's gonna be a part of our game. We can't keep the ball, but let's win it back.
Yep. I think look, we need to win this match because it's La Revancha. We need to win this match no matter what. Because with this team, well, every time we say we will against Panama, we lose. So I need to see a win.
We will win this match. Yeah. I mean, we will win this match. Yes.
No. Every time we say we will win, we lose to Panama.
Every time.
So
I don't say we will win against Panama when we're facing Panama.
Okay. So today, are you saying that we will win next week against Panama?
I
today?
think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
It really feels like we should and we will.
Okay. All right. I wouldn't be disappointed with anything less than 3-0.
No, it's not going to be 3-0.
I think it needs to be. I think it needs to be 3-0.
I don't care how many goals we score. I really don't care. I just want to see us play in a different way than we have.
Okay.
And win. We have to win. We have to stop accepting good performances that don't lead to victories against
1,000%. We need to win against Panama, man. They're owning us. We need to step up, take it back. So. Yeah. All right, U.S. men's national team fans, let's hear your thoughts about this roster. Do you guys like it? The other players you would have liked included? Do you agree with this boys' analysis of what is going on? Please subscribe to the channel if you are interested, and we'll come to you next week. Guys, I'm excited. I'm excited for next week's match. Anything quickly before we sign off? Nope. Okay. Vamos, Pochettino! And go USA. Beat Panama.
USA.